All right, guys and gals, today's trading psychology question of the day. She says, I know how to trade. I have a strategy that works. She said, I love this, but I swear it seems like I'm my worst enemy when it comes to following that trading plan. I find good trades almost every day, but for some reason, I find some excuse on why I can't execute the trade according to my rules. It's costing me money. Is there any idea for how to solve this problem? This is a great question and a very common topic among new traders. It's called self-sabotaging. Self-sabotaging your own trading strategy because you're letting outside thoughts and distractions get you away from executing your plan. You know, I had a big problem with this when I was a new trader as well. I would find a good pattern with a good signal. I would take the trade, but then something would spook me and I would exit the trade early just before the market ran straight towards my profit target. I think every trader knows the words to that song, don't we? So how do we keep our emotions from sabotaging the execution of our strategy, right? How do we stop self-sabotaging our own success? Because it's easy to see it's costing us valuable profit. That could be the difference between success and failure in the long run. You know, I think the bottom line is this. We all seem to have like a trigger that sets in motion these series of distractions, right? It's like this one thing happens and it sets this like emotional domino, right? That ultimately causes us to second guess ourselves and we end up making foolish decisions. So let's develop a strategy that will help manage those mental triggers, right? So we can trade the strategy correctly. Now, let's get into confidence here because confidence plays an important role in our ability to execute our strategy. Let's talk about confidence for a moment because a lot of people act like you just got to have confidence, right? And everything else falls into place as if you can pick up a copy of Confidence, right, on Amazon and have it delivered with Prime shipping tomorrow afternoon. It's not that easy. Let me tell you a story about confidence. You know, this reminds me of a trip to Las Vegas that I took many, many years ago. I was a kid back then. A while back, I bought a new car. It was new to me. It wasn't a new car. It was new to me, and really nice car. It was the nicest car I ever bought at the time in my life. And decided to take a road trip from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. It's about a 5-hour drive from the beach in LA through Death Valley. They have a big thermometer on the side of the highway, shows you how stinking hot it is, right? All the way into the desert, into Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. It takes about 5 hours. I've taken this trip 100 times before. It's very, very easy. A lot of it is straight and flat through the desert. So I just bought a new car. I was meeting friends for a birthday party on Friday night in Vegas. I was excited to go have some fun, but I was really, really late. I just finished my work in the office. I didn't want to miss the party, and I was late leaving the city. Now, if you ever live in a major city, you know how important it can be to get out of the city before rush hour traffic hits, right? Because if you don't get out early, right, you'll be sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and then by the time you get there, it'll be too late. So I'm running late. I'm running low on time, and I forgot to fill up the gas tank before I left the city. And of course, with bumper-to-bumper traffic, right, jammed up, trying to get out of the city here in LA, by the time I realized I was low on gasoline, I was in the middle of the desert, and I just passed one of those last stops for 100 miles signs, right, on the way to Vegas. If you've ever been in the Southwest, right, there are these huge stretches of wide open desert, and you know they give you a heads up. They say last stop, 100 miles until you're going to have another chance to fill up your gas tank or find any side of life. So I had to make a choice. I could turn around, go back and fill up my gas tank. Right, that would basically guarantee that I would miss the dinner party, or I could test the limits of the gas tank and I could see if I could make it to the next gas station. Right? Well, either way, I was in the middle of nowhere and I needed to fill my tank, or I had a bigger problem than singing Happy Birthday with my friends. So being the young, brave, moron of a kid that I was, I decided going to Vegas, right? Let's roll the dice and let's test my luck on getting to the next gas station. Sure enough, 45 stressful, agonizing minutes later, and with my fuel gauge begging me for just a sip of more gas, right, I pulled into a gas station and I filled up my tank. I got back on the highway. I made it right in time, literally right in time, to help my friend blow out his candles right for his birthday. The moral of the story is, no, it's not push the limits to go to Vegas. The moral of the story is not that. The moral of the story is I tested the limits of my new car. And from that point forward, I had plenty of confidence that, anytime the fuel gauge was on E, I knew that I had at least another 100 miles or so, right? And I tested that on many additional occasions, right? So the moral is confidence must be earned. Okay, you can't just buy it. You can't just get it from somebody else. Confidence has to be earned. Just like testing my car's fuel economy, right? You need to test the limits of your trading strategy. The challenge is you have to execute your strategy before you can have confidence. And a lot of new traders don't have the patience to test their strategy in all different market conditions before they move to putting real money at risk. I'll tell you, I can't tell you how many times I speak to a new trader who has never been successful before, but yet they wonder why they don't trust their rules. They wonder why, right, that little voice in their head sneaks in and they end up self-sabotaging their trading, right? Why they can't execute with confidence. And I asked them, how long did you test this strategy before you went live? And of course, the answer is always not long enough. So the first thing you need to remove the mental distractions, right? Remember the question was, how do I stop self-sabotaging, right? How do I stop making foolish decisions that cost me money, right? How do I remove the mental distractions? First thing is you've got to have confidence in your strategy, right? Then if you do, the next time the little voice in your head says, take profit quickly, or get out of this trade early, or move your stop up ahead of time, it's okay. You need to have the experience to say to yourself, no, I'm not going to go outside my rules. I'm not going to take this trade just because I haven't traded in a while. I'm not going to move my stop to point of entry if that's outside of my plan. I don't care what the reason is. If it's not inside of my rules, right, all I have to do is just execute my rules and I'll be just fine. You have to have that level of confidence, right? So take the time, test your strategy over a long period of time. Don't back test it. This is one of the worst mistakes I made as a new trader. You know what I'm talking about, right? Back testing. Back testing means you look at a static chart and you go back for a number of weeks and you go, oh yeah, I would have bought there, I would have sold there. Waste of time, right? Waste of time. Okay, I'm not talking about back testing. I'm talking about testing in real-time markets on a simulator or on a very, very small, right, live position, right? Make sure you cover all the different types of market conditions, and you will earn that confidence that you need to be able to avoid those mental distractions. So now that we know how important confidence is, right, and how most new traders that I meet never invest enough time to really earn that confidence, now let's talk about another important tactic in removing mental distractions that basically causes us to self-sabotage our trading. Now, mental discipline, right, and our ability to stay focused. I think this is possibly the most important thing outside of having confidence, right, in your strategy. In today's world of shrinking attention spans, people seem to have a very hard time staying focused for a few seconds, let alone a few minutes or a few hours. I've always told my new clients that following our trading rules will be easy for the first 15 minutes of every day. But after a few hours of trading, only a disciplined professional can keep themselves focused. So I can't tell you how many times as a new trader, I would have my plan in place, I'd be ready to execute that plan, but eventually, after being in the market for a few hours, I would lose my focus towards the end of the session and either miss the trade that I was waiting for, or even worse, create a bad trade, what I call manufacturing trades, create a bad trade out of thin air, or take a perfectly good trade, right, but make some foolish decision that robbed me of all my hard-earned profits. Staying focused, staying disciplined for more than 15 or 20 minutes is hard. In fact, it takes practice, right? And discipline, patience, is like a muscle, right? The more you use it, the stronger it gets. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? So discipline is like a muscle. You've got to exercise. You've got to build it, right, to make it strong. So how can we develop our discipline muscles that would make it easier for following our trading rules, right? How do we remove these mental distractions that rob us of profitable trades or allow us to make winning trades, right, into losing trades by poor decision making, right? I recommend using meditation to develop the skills you need to remove those distractions from your trading. And the bottom line is we get tired of staying focused, right? Literally our focus muscles get fatigued, and that allows us to trigger that mental state that is susceptible to making bad decisions. Now we need to practice the skills of staying focused, and I would highly recommend adding daily meditation before you trade and after you trade as a way of developing those specific skills. Now I know what you're thinking right now. Really, Joe, meditation? Really, meditation? I know. It sounds kind of foolish. It sounds like something you'd see, right, from that guy out front of Whole Foods on Saturday morning. I know, right? It sounds foolish. It sounds like a waste of time. For me, meditation kind of was a little bit scary at first, right, because I didn't really know what the goal was. But in reality, it's really easy to learn, and when you do it, right, you'll see remarkable improvement in a lot of different aspects of your life when you invest the time to do it each day. Again, this is a muscle, right? You got to work this muscle to grow it, right, so you can be stronger. So first, if you're new to meditation, I would recommend a free app called Headspace. I'll put a link in the text below the video on our blog, right? Now, I use this app called Headspace when I first started meditation many years ago, and this will be a good foundation to grow with. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can find a book on this topic at your local library. You can watch probably tens of thousands of hours of great what's called guided meditation on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description on this one for you guys. So on and so forth. Meditation, you don't need to go out and spend a lot of money. And it doesn't need to be some formal type of meditation. Meditation will train your mind to stay focused by strengthening your discipline not to let your mind wander, right? That's all meditation really does, right? What it really is it's going to listen to some calm music for anywhere from 10 to 60 minutes, right? I would recommend starting with 10 minutes. Start something simple, a 10-minute meditation before you begin trading every day. Then make it more, right? 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then add it after you finish trading as well, okay? Very, very easy. All you do is you listen to some calm music, right? Anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. Again, start small, start 10 minutes. And what you want to do is don't let your mind wander. Stay focused on your breathing, but you'll quickly see how hard it is, right, to keep your brain from wandering in different directions, right, and bring it back into, right, your focus. Now, I promise you this. If you invest 20 minutes every morning to meditate before you begin your trading day, right? And again, go on YouTube, check out Headspace. They'll teach you all about meditation because I'm not a meditation expert. I just know that it's really helped me, right, doing 10 minutes before I begin trading every day. I also like to work in some yoga ahead of that as well to kind of get the blood pumping a little bit. So if you invest 20 minutes every morning to meditate before you begin your trading day, you'll find it much easier to keep those distractions from interrupting your trading when you're in heat of the moment, right? Use meditation to build those muscles, right? You will love the results, right, that you see in your trading. You'll have more patience with your trading, more patience with your children, your coworkers. Almost the entire spectrum of your life will be improved when you incorporate meditation. Now, before I finish, I also want to touch on the topic of risk because when a client has trouble following the rules, I always recommend meditation. I always recommend practicing the strategy a little bit longer to build more confidence, and I always remind them to trade the smallest size possible when they begin. In my experience, fear of loss is one of the hardest emotions to conquer. And if you're risking more money than you can safely afford to lose on any single trade, those emotions are going to make it almost impossible for you to follow your plan. So I would also recommend that in addition to meditation and building confidence or earning confidence, you start trading with one or two contracts, the very minimum size when it comes to futures trading, and with the least amount of risk. So you don't have that fear of losing a lot of money, which oftentimes clouds our judgment. Now, I'm going to do a lot more on the topic of risk management in coming videos, so make sure you stay tuned for more of that as well. So we've covered a lot in this psychology video. Let's recap. Right? The trading psychology question for today was, how do I keep myself from self-sabotaging, right? How do I prevent all these mental distractions from coming in and basically making me make bad decisions? I recommend earning confidence through extensive practice, right? Practice, not back testing, but trading in real time on a simulator or in a very small position size, and make sure your strategy will succeed in all market conditions. Once you've earned that confidence, then you'll be able to tell the little voice in your head to quiet down and let you focus on executing the strategy according to your rules. I also recommend using meditation to strengthen those muscles of discipline and patience. That'll keep you focused and remove those mental distractions later in your day, right? So you're not so emotionally fatigued as the day develops. And I also recommend you keep the minimum, right? You risk the minimum when you begin your trading, because the fear of loss is one of those challenging emotions for new traders. We're loss-averse creatures. We have trouble with losing money, and it oftentimes causes, I know for me, when I was new at trading, when I was trying to trade too big of size, I would constantly move my stop up the point of entry too quickly because I knew that I was risking too much. I didn't want to lose, right? You have to be okay with losing money every once in a while, and so trade the minimum size so you can kind of get your feet wet without risking too much that's outside, right, of your comfort zone, right? And again, we're going to talk more about risk management as we develop more into these psychology lessons. Boy, guys, I hope you found a ton of value in today's psychology lesson, and I would love to hear from you about additional topics that you might be struggling with as traders. Do me a favor, help me out real quick. Drop me a comment below the video tonight. Any topics you'd like to see me cover in my next psychology video, make sure you give me a thumbs up if you found value, and don't forget to share this video with a friend. You know, it doesn't matter what market we trade or what strategy we use, whether you're a new trader or an experienced trader, even the best traders in the world battle with these emotions, right, when there's money on the line. So don't forget to share this with a friend before you guys finish up your day today. And also don't forget, you can find me every morning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time in my trade room with all of our members here at School of Trade. I have a great free trial on the home page of our website at schooloftrade.com. I publish my nightly newsletter every evening on our blog before 8 p.m. And I'm excited to see you guys on my next psychology lesson. Once again, my name is Joseph James. Hope you found value. I look forward to seeing you next time.